Hello everyone, welcome back to Learning for Fun. In this series, Math for Fun, we teach you tips and tricks to make math easier. These are the follow-up questions from last time. The first one is, how many numbers are in the series negative 5.5, negative 4.5, negative 3.5, all the way to 23.5? The answer to that is 30, and we got that answer by adding 6.5 to 23.5. If you don't know how we got that answer, or if you got a different answer, or if you just want to learn the concept, you can go back and watch the previous video. Now the second one actually covers a concept that we will be learning today in the second part of the last video. So make sure you go back and watch that previous video, and if you already did, then just keep watching. So this is our first example, and so what we're going to do is we're going to try to find the number of numbers in this series. But at first it seems like it's different from the ones that we've encountered before because the series goes up by 4s. So 24, 28, 32, all the way to 92. But we just have to do the same thing that we did before and convert the series to one that we're more familiar with. So let's see what happens when we divide it by 4, since they're all multiples of 4. For the first one, 24 divided by 4 is 6. 28 divided by 4 is 7. 32 divided by 4 is 8. And so on till 92 divided by 4, which is 23. Now this is a series that we're more familiar with since we covered examples like these in our last video. So for this one, we just have to subtract 5. 6 minus 5 is 1. 7 minus 5 is 2, 8 minus 5 is 3, and so on till 23 minus 5, which is 18. And that's the answer. So the second example seems a bit harder than our previous examples, but we just have to do the same thing. Simplify it and then make them 1, 2, 3. So to do this, we see that it's going up by 3s, but we have to be careful because these are not multiples of 3. So if we divide it by 3, then we'll get fractions, and fractions make everything complicated. But we can make them multiples of 3 by subtracting 1 from each of them. So negative 23 minus 1 is negative 24. Negative 20 minus 1 is negative 21. Negative 17 minus 1 is negative 18. And so on until 121 minus 1, which is 120. And now this is like our last example, except with negative numbers. So we just do the same thing as before. We divide everything by 3. Negative 24 minus 3 is 8. Negative 21 divided by 3 is negative 8 and negative 7. Negative 18 divided by 3 is negative 6. And so on until 120 divided by 3, which is 40. Now this seems easier, so now we just have to convert it to the 1, 2, 3 sequence, which can be done by adding 9. So negative 8 plus 9 is 1. Negative 7 plus 9 is 2. Negative 6 plus 9 is 3. And so on until 40 plus 9, which is 49, and that is our answer. So there is no generalized formula for doing these types of problems, but we just have to remember, just divide it. First you have to find out what the difference between the numbers is, and then you have to make all of them a multiple of that difference. So like it was 3 here, so we made them all multiples of 3. And then you just divide by that difference, and then you just make the series 1, 2, 3. So it's a bit intuitive, but there's no generalized formula for it. So I know I've said that fractions make everything complicated, but sometimes you just have to deal with fractions. Now in this case, we have improper fractions, which actually make things easier. But if you have mixed fractions, you can just convert them to improper fractions. So for this one, because first of all, nobody likes fractions, so we're just going to multiply it by 8 to get rid of the fractions. Remember, if we multiply this by 8, we're still going to get a whole number, since this is just a simplified version of a fraction that's divided by 8. So if we multiply this by 8, we get 79. If we multiply this by 8, we get 19 times 4, which is 76. If we multiply this by 8, we get 73. And so on until we multiply this by 8 and we get 77. So now we notice that the numbers are actually decreasing by 3 this time. But that's just the same as increasing it, except the series is just written out backwards. So we do the exact same steps as before. So now because it's decreasing by 3, we just have to make them all multiples of 3. Now if you start from this side, it might be a little harder to do. So what I recommend is starting from this side since the numbers are smaller. And from here we can easily see that we just have to subtract 1. 7 minus 1 is 6. 73 minus 1 is 72. 76 minus 1 is 75. 79 minus 1 is 78. And these are all multiples of 3. So now we just have to divide them all by 3. So 6 divided by 3 is 2. 72 divided by 3 is 24. 75 divided by 3 is 25. And 78 divided by 3 is 26. And now this is a list that we're really good at counting. So we shouldn't have to convert this to 1 because it's just 2. So you just subtract 1 from 26 and you get 25, which is our answer. Here are some follow-up questions that you can take to make sure that you learn the skills well. Now this follow-up question, we have actually already covered the concept because in the next video, we'll not be doing series anymore. We actually finished our unit on series, so we'll have a new topic for the next video. And remember, this is the channel where we teach you magic tricks with an X to make math easier. Have a nice day.